Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. President Obama's visit to the killing ground in Oregon. That is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. The president's journey to Roseburg, shrouded in secrecy this afternoon. Families and victims alerted to the last minute that they were invited to Roseburg High School to see the president. Press denied access to the event, shut out. Strange and unusual. Cell phones confiscated by the Secret Service. And the visit was generally constructed to be hard to cover. But why? Why? The nation would like to see how their leaders consoling those wounded and the families of the dead. What's wrong with seeing that? Perhaps the White House is sensitive to those who opposed Mr. Obama's visit.
I think it's terrible. I think he's using it for his own agenda. He's sure it's nice for him to come and sympathize with the victims, but most of the victims don't want him here. Roseburg doesn't want him here. Oregon doesn't want him here. And I think he should just stay away and keep in his 10-mile square area in Washington, D.C. and leave us alone.
But keep in mind that no one forced the families and victims to meet with the president. They all went voluntarily. As Talking Points has stated, all Americans should respect the office of the presidency, no matter who's in it. If the leader of America wants to console the citizenry, that should happen without rancor. But Mr. Obama made a major mistake in this story in using the Oregon massacre to push his anti-gun agenda. That upset some folks in Roseburg and all around the country, and their feelings are valid. The president has also been selective in his compassion. An illegal alien used a gun to kill Kate Steinle. No call from Mr. Obama to the Steinle family. Thousands of guns on the streets of Chicago. Hundreds of murders taking place in the minority precincts there. The president largely ignores the carnage. If he were to visit those victimized in the Windy City, he'd be there every day. Fair-minded Americans want good public safety laws, and most will support common-sense regulations on the sale of guns. But to deny Americans the protection that comes with the Second Amendment is foolish policy. President Obama believes his vision is best for America. He should sit down with me and other members of the media and answer some questions. So far, he's acting on emotion, not the facts, in the gun control debate. Only a few hundred demonstrators showed up to greet the president, not thousands. Fox News producers report the crowd was evenly divided between those who opposed the visit and those who support it. The president himself spoke about the high school meeting for about 2 minutes, didn't say very much, just the usual consolation and promise to help. Now, I wish all Americans were law-abiding and both physically and mentally healthy. I really wish that, but it's a dream. Reality is much more brutal, and leaving a citizenry without self-protection is simply irresponsible. And that's the memo. Now for the top story tonight. Joining us from Roseburg, Kendra Gooden, who was in the school when the shooting took place and survived. And David Jakes, the publisher of the newspaper there. So this is very strange today, Mr. Jakes, and as a journalist, I think you would acknowledge that. When did the victims and their families first even learn they were invited to this soiree?
Well, it was very unusual indeed. The press had no access to the event whatsoever. And I think, Bill, as you speculated, I think some of that could have had to do with they're not sure what kind of reaction they're going to get. And I think a lot of it had to do with maybe an anemic response, because we know a number of families declined to see the president.
All right. And Kendra, you know one of the victims. First of all, tell us her story and your story, where you were when the shooting broke out at the community college. And tell us your friend's story, and then we'll pick it up.
The first shots fired around 10:35, and Kim Dietz, one of the victims, left the classroom to go check on the other class to see what was happening. No one had thought that it could be a gun. We just thought something blew off in the science lab, and she came back and she had bullet wounds. And that's when we knew something was bad. All right, so she
was your friend. She came back into the classroom. She was bleeding from bullet wounds. She died right in front of you?
Yeah.
Can you tell us at that moment how that affected you?
It's been very difficult. At the time, I truly did not know what was going on. The thought that somebody had brought a gun to school it didn't make sense to me. I did what everyone else was doing. I hid under my desk and I called my loved ones and told them that I loved them and I hope to see them again.
Now, another friend of yours, and correct me if I'm wrong about this, there's a lot of stuff swirling around, was invited to see the president today, correct?
Yes.
But she didn't go?
Yes, she was. I don't believe she went. No, she had prepared a speech, actually, for him about gun control and how she didn't want her name to be spun into something that she did not believe. She didn't want to be involved in something that she did not believe.
The bottom line is that the whole town is still so upset about this whole thing, and that's why a lot of people aren't talking. Is that correct?
Absolutely. No, people are very upset that something so horrific has to be spun into something for political reasons.
Right.
People died here, and it's not, you can't make laws to bring these people back.
We understand the political component and the emotion of it. David, I want you to wrap things up for us by just giving us, do you expect to talk to people later on about what happened, or are you just going to let the story go?
No, we intend, Bill, to follow up as best we can. But I would say this, that today, a particularly sad note to this is, while the president was on the ground, there were 2 funerals held today as loved ones buried someone very dear to them that they lost. And this underscores the whole trouble with this visit from the very beginning, Bill. And I think it was just the inappropriate nature, the inappropriate timing. And I think that a lot of people, and I'm one of them, question the president's sincerity. I believe that his next campaign stop today is a fundraiser. I think this will be fodder to help raise money.
Yeah, well, we'll see. All right, we appreciate you both coming on. Thank you very much.